You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
White supremacists over the moon at far-right vigilante movie pushed by Musk report based on an article by Matthew Chapman. Elon Musk didn't just share film, he weaponized reach. The rebel story. The film at the center of this story is not the main event. A grotesque far-right revenge fantasy would normally sit where it belongs, on the margins, ignored except by the already radicalized. What changed was not the movie's quality or coherence. What changed was Elon Musk's decision to blast it across X, where it was viewed millions of times and handed a larger audience than its creators could have earned on their own. That is the power structure here, not a filmmaker, not an actor who later disavowed the product. Musk, he controls a megaphone, and he used it to elevate a white supremacist recruitment object into mass circulation. Who enabled that outcome? The source makes the chain of responsibility plain. Uwe Boll made a film about a man enraged by a supposed Muslim takeover who starts murdering migrants, youths, and judges. Musk then spent weeks endorsing it, shared the full film for 48 hours, and boosted praise for scene in which the protagonist murders a Syrian refugee family after a son commits sexual violence. That is not accidental amplification. That is active promotion. Armie Hammer's later disgust does not clean this up. His disavowal matters less than the fact that the film already existed as usable political material for the far right. Boll may insist he has nothing against Islam, but the content and the public comments described here are not subtle. They are propaganda with a thin disguise. The misdirection is the point. White supremacists understood the use case immediately. The film could help recruit normies. That phrase matters. It describes the entire strategy. Extremists do not need everyone to become an ideologue overnight. They need enough people to accept the first lie, then the next one, then the violence as understandable. The film frames migrant slaughter as justice, turns Muslim presence into a civilizational invasion, and dresses murder up as moral restoration. The misdirection is deliberate. It recasts racist violence as response and social breakdown as proof that fascist fantasy was right all along. Musk is not a bystander. Their article's most important fact is that Musk is not simply someone with bad taste or poor judgment. He is a political actor with enormous platform power, enormous wealth, and a documented pattern of boosting far-right content. The source notes that he recently became a trillionaire after the IPO of SpaceX. That is not background color. It is the concentration of private power that makes this kind of intervention possible. He has grown radicalized in far-right spaces. His platform has functioned as a vector for extremism, and Grok has spread white nationalist conspiracy theories. That is the pattern, not one lapse, but a system in which a billionaire's preferences shape the information environment, normalize violent fantasies, and launder hate through scale. The normalizers matter too. The temptation in stories like this is to focus on the obvious extremists and ignore the infrastructure that gives them oxygen. That would be a mistake. The fascist fringe has always depended on respectable carriers, wealthy enablers, and distribution systems that pretend they are neutral while amplifying abuse. X is not a passive venue. It is an instrument. Musk is not merely a user. He is a gatekeeper who can drag a toxic artifact from obscurity into visibility and call it speech. The damage is not only that white supremacists are cheering. It is that they are being handed reach, validation, and a recruitment funnel by one of the most powerful men alive. The pattern underneath. This is what authoritarian culture looks like in its contemporary American version, not just rallies and slogans, but platform owners, billionaire patrons, and algorithmic mass distribution turning dehumanization into content. The lie is always that this is spontaneous, messy, or just controversial. It isn't. It is organized by power, protected by wealth, and then explained away as overaction. The lesson is not that one vile film exists. The lesson is that the richest people in the country can help convert racist fantasy into political utility, and their power lets them do it while pretending to be mere observers. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Raw Story for today's article. With the automated voice of Arctic, thanks for listening.